Welcome again to Lakeshore Focus, a weekly show highlighting the key issues, important events, and interesting people in our region. I'm Keith Kirkpatrick. Since the news broke of a merger between Purdue University Calumet and Purdue North Central, there has been a range of responses, whether it's from the students, faculty, or staff, or the general public. People are wondering just what this merger will look like. Some are concerned, while others approach the idea with optimism. Joining us today to shed some light on the topic are Thomas Keon, the Chancellor of Purdue University Calumet, and James Dworkin, the Chancellor of Purdue University North Central. For most people, this would be pretty confusing to have two Purdue chancellors on at the same time, wouldn't it be?
I think it would be.
So I have to say Jim and Tom rather than Chancellor?
That would be perfect.
That's good.
Because if I say Chancellor, you both would answer at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good point, actually.
So does that, as this potential of this merger or consolidation comes together, are you at meetings where people have done that before and said, Chancellor, and you didn't know who was answering?
It didn't happen to me, but it definitely could happen. I think they usually either point to him or point to me.
So that's the way they get your attention?
Yes.
I was told when I first took the job that, your name's Jim, but you'll lose your name. And I mean, everywhere I go, Chancellor, Chancellor, Chancellor. And so it's easy to remember the Chancellor.
Yes.
Hard to remember all these names.
I was Dean for 17 years,
Yeah.
so now I'm Chancellor.
You've changed your name from
big
Dean
change.
to Chancellor, yeah?
So as long as the meeting is that they're using this finger when they point to you, right?
Yeah,
And
they
make
use
sure
they
it's
use
the
a
right
friendly finger, yeah.
The friendly finger.
Or they might say Chancellor Dworkin or Chancellor Keon.
Yes.
But, or they might say we'd like both of you to opine on that or whatever.
So we're looking at combining the two campuses into one unit. Is that the way you describe this?
I would say that we're trying to take and create one university with two campuses, because we're not trying to combine campuses. We're going to have two separate, distinct campuses.
Okay, one university, two campuses.
Exactly, a good way to put it. One university, two very strong campuses. And both of our campuses are very strong already, as you know, Keith. And this is a great way to look at the efficiencies and get some efficiencies by having maybe one person over some area where we used to have two people, and then we could take that money that we save and use that to plow back into faculty needs or also some student needs like access and success.
So have the marketing people, I like that really, that one university, two campuses. Has the marketing people come up with that, or did you just come up with that on the spot, Tom?
Well, we've been talking about that for some time. As a matter of fact, one of the first things we talked about was keeping the Calumet campus, keeping the North Central campus, because as we were thinking about needing a new name for this university, clearly we thought, how do we keep people attached to us? And the way we thought we would do that is by naming the campuses with the traditional names, and then that spun into having one university with two campuses.
So remind me what the final decision was on the name.
So it's called Purdue Northwest. So in the future, for instance, on the Purdue North Central campus, it'll say Purdue Northwest North Central campus, and then the other campus will be Purdue Northwest Calumet campus. And as far as diplomas, they'll be the same. They always say Purdue University, and they say awarded in Westville, awarded in West Lafayette, awarded in Hammond. So it'll be really no big difference.
So in the name, do you drop the university? So it's just Purdue Northwest? There's no Purdue University in it?
No, it's actually going to be Purdue University Northwest.
Right.
Okay.
But we'll probably informally always say Purdue Northwest or PNW.
Exactly, because right now we're known as PNC, and people refer to them as PUC. So this will be PNW. It's a short way to say it, but definitely we keep the word university.
This could drive you a little crazy, couldn't it? Putting all this down. So what is the most common question you're asked? You know, I mean, if you're in front of a group of people for the first time, or even, I mean, what's the first question that they normally ask you about this whole thing?
It depends on the audience, I would say, but students would tend to ask me, are we going to have to drive between the two campuses on a daily basis? And the answer is no, because we're going to have these two strong campuses. But I must say, I tell them, we have a few students that choose to take courses on both campuses even now. But the idea is not to have students drive between the campuses on a daily basis. And they'll either be attached to the Purdue North Central campus or to the Purdue Calumet campus. That's the most frequently asked question I get from students. And maybe I'll let Tom tell you which one he gets asked by faculty.
Well, before you ask the faculty one, I mean, the way I see that, I guess, is if I was a student at the campus and I was at the North Central campus and there was a course offered that didn't get offered at the right time or wasn't offered at all at the Purdue Calumet campus, I have an opportunity to take that class, right?
Absolutely.
I think
In fact,
that's a huge
That's one
benefit.
of the huge benefits of this, getting the two campuses put together, because students will have more choice. In fact, we both say it all the time. This is all about students and making this experience better for students.
Because I
And
think, go ahead.
absolutely, I was going to say there are many times when you want to avoid a professor, and this is your great opportunity.
No, we're recording this. Now make sure you don't want to mention anybody specifically. But you know, that is one of the greatest complaints students have had is they're not offering this course again till the fall.
Yes.
And I needed to graduate, or I want to take this class and we only offer it once every 2 years.
Well, we have faculty now on both campuses starting to talk to one another about how they might manipulate the curriculum and merge the curriculum and coursework. And in some of the smaller programs where they can only offer classes every other year, there's already discussion about alternating those. So the courses that would be in year 1 on Calumet would be year 2 at North Central. And then at Calumet, when we're doing the year 2, then North Central would be doing the year 1, and a student who happens to get out of sequence could stay within sequence if they would choose to go to one campus or the other.
I think that's a huge benefit. I mean, also
Absolutely.
the other common problem, which is we got to make sure we got enough people for this class, right? And if we
Exactly.
don't have enough enroll for it,
Yes.
we cancel it or we postpone it, and then students are like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
So
Consider like a higher level biology or physics class where there might only be 4 students on one campus. But if you combine the two campuses, you could get 15 or so students. You can run the course.
huge. So what's the one most common question asked by the faculty or staff?
Well, the faculty generally ask 2 questions. One is, will we keep tenure? And the answer is yes. And then the second question is, are we really saving money? And that answer, we always refer them to our unification website, show them at present we've saved almost $600,000. We know that we're easily going to save another $600,000 in further collapsing the administration. And we'll see more and more money saved over time as we have one platform for our student data. We'll be able to cut the expense in half that we currently have. So we're going to see more and more. My expectation is that it would not be surprising that we save $2 million in reoccurring dollars. And if we can put that into additional faculty and additional support for students, we're all better off.
So that's a good answer for the faculty, I would assume. You said there was 2 questions they asked, kind of the tenure.
The first one was tenure.
On the
The
money
second one
savings,
is,
okay.
Are we really going to save money?
So they'll save the big $500,000 salaries you guys get paid, right, also?
Yes, eventually there'll be one chancellor. So it's not a joke, it's true. There'll be one chancellor. Just like right now we have one vice chancellor over administration. We have one vice chancellor over information services. So yes, there will be some savings based on cutting back administration from 2 to 1 in many
But we
cases.
better clarify that you're not getting paid $500,000 apiece, right?
No, we're not.
Not quite.
We're not.
I can see that on people, he gets paid they get paid $500,000? No, I don't.
I know, I was going to say, did you get a raise? And I don't know.
No, I didn't.
So I'll get to how that's going to work at a later point here. But right now, what are some of the painful pieces of this consolidation so far? I mean, you guys are moving into it. There've been some places where it's like, oh my gosh, this has really been kind of hard to do.
I might give a couple of examples. We do things differently on the 2 campuses. And for instance, there's a Purdue North Central Faculty Senate and there's a Purdue Calumet Faculty Senate. And the 2 faculty senates do things quite differently. At Purdue North Central, the faculty senate is, I would call it y'all come. People are invited to join, and so we have a lot of participation. In fact, a lot of younger faculty members. At the Purdue Calumet campus, they elect senators, and most of them tend to be more senior faculty. So right now, I'd say I don't know if I'd call it painful, but one of the things that's taking some time are the 2 faculty senates trying to get together and combine into one faculty senate. So that would be one area. Another area I would say that comes up a lot is advising. We do things differently in the advising area. Our advisors are basically assigned to the student services area, and I think at Purdue Calumet the advisors tend to be on the academic affairs side of things. And so there's going to be some discussion on, should the advisors really be in the departments and working with the deans and the students that way, or should the advisors have broader responsibilities and be able to advise people in biology as well as people in communication and things like that. So I don't know that those are particularly painful, but there are a lot of areas like that where we have big differences and we need to make it work out. Oh, another one I might mention quickly is tuition's a little bit different on the two campuses. And so by the time we become formally unified, we need to make tuition the same. It's not wildly different. But
so what is that going to mean? Is it going to go up on one and down on the other, or both up? Or?
Yeah, Purdue Calumet has to come up 1.25% in that adjustment in order to get them equalized.
It's not huge then.
no, it's not.
No, it isn't. But, the naming and finding a name was painful. A lot of the alumni are attached to the name
Yes.
of the institution. So that was a difficult piece. We both have mascots, and instead of having a winner and a loser, we'll be looking for the possibility of coming up with a new mascot. And those things get people's emotions on edge.
They really do. And what are you guys? Your mascot is what?
We're the Panthers.
The Panthers and
We're the Peregrines.
the Peregrines. Well, this could be an interesting combination of the two biologically, right?
Yes.
Maybe get the biology faculty to kind of work on this and see what they could come up with.
A peregrine panther, huh?
Peregrine Panthers are very fast peregrines.
they would
I
be.
guess peregrines are fast to begin with.
But like we did with the naming, we'll have a lot of input into this, and eventually we'll come up with a new mascot. And athletics is another good example where we both have separate teams, and we play in the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. And once the campuses are unified, we're going to be going to one team, and there's a chance that we might change into a different athletic conference. So there's a lot of discussion on that as well.
So which of these issues were real apparent to you that this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, and what has come up that's like, oh my gosh, where'd that come from? I mean, just never anticipated that would be an issue or become as big a one. Has there been something like that?
Well, I think tenure was the biggest issue. Faculty just wanted more and more reinforcement. Jim and I put out a joint memo explaining that everybody would keep their tenure. And after that, they still wanted reassurance from the Board of Trustees. So that was very, very important and is important. However, the reassurance had to come from the top.
Do you feel like, if you could kind of say how well it's going, would you say it's going very well or just kind of an average? Or
Well, you have to
struggling?
realize neither of us have done this before, but in my humble opinion, on a 10-point scale, we're about at a 9 out of 10. I think we're going pretty darn well. We have meetings all the time. People get along pretty well. We have so many different committees that are working together on different things. Like if you can imagine, we have 4 colleges, and all the different colleges the different departments are working together, trying to put together programs. One of the questions you asked before, I was about to say that I think in the near future, we'll probably, when we hire new faculty, one of the things might be the ability to teach on both campuses. And so there's so many things going on, and there seems to be a lot of goodwill, and so I feel pretty good about it.
Well, I would agree. One of the things I think initially was that when people heard there was going to be a merger, they had this expectation that we were going to roll out this big plan of what we were going to look like. And with an organization like a university where we have so many professionals involved, we have to get them engaged in all of the decision making. And what we're finding, I believe, is that as they start discussing courses and naming courses and numbering courses and developing a syllabus for the course, that's immediately getting them thinking about which courses should be required, which courses should be elective, how we make that into a program, and that should evolve then into which department should we be in, should our department be in a college, which college should it be in, and all of that piece, while people would like to know whether there's an answer, this is what the structure is going to look like in academic affairs, we've been letting it evolve from the grassroots.
Well, this sounds like the conversation we had earlier. It's a depends on your perspective. Is it evolution or revolution, right?
Right,
And some
right.
people see it probably as a revolution, but it sounds more like it's evolving.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
For both of you. How did this decision come down? Because we've had this conversation before, particularly Jim and I, over all the years we've talked about these consolidations for, gosh, 15 years maybe up here. And was this President Daniels kind of like, or was
no.
this you guys pushing this up, or where'd it come
Well,
from?
you know, as you know, and I'm into this later than the two of you, it's been a discussion that's been ongoing in Northwest Indiana for years. It was one of the first things that I was told when I got here. Do we really need to have 3 state universities? So Jim and I, knowing that we had an opportunity, decided to look at, could this happen? And we laid out several different options and provided them to the board.
Yep, we showed those options to President Daniels first, and then he said, I'd like you to come down and show those to the board. And it was actually this year, it was February of this year at a board meeting, and they told us, go forward and do it. And we really have just been working on it for a rather short period of time. And I think all the different successes and the move we've made so far is pretty amazing for such a short period of time.
So some people talked about IU should have been part of this, and then there's other people like, of course it shouldn't be. Was there part of that? Was it part of the discussion or the decision about considering IU in as part of this?
I would say we basically decided this was going to be a Purdue effort, and we're going to see, once this is successful, who knows what might happen in the future. But it was, obviously as Tom said, the issue of IU and Purdue Cal combining has been in the news ever since I've been chancellor for the last 15 years. People have been talking about that. But this was just an opportunity to do things between the 2 Purdue campuses because, we basically are both Purdue and we do things similarly, and so we can make things happen.
It's a start.
Yes, and in retrospect, knowing what we're going through
Well, it would've been-
and being very similar, trying to throw a third into the mix
That
that
would've
was
been
dissimilar
complicated.
would be really difficult.
Might have been really tough.
You asked that question before about what's surprising. The single thing that surprised me the most is even though the 2 campuses are only 35 miles apart, the large number of people from Purdue Cal who had never been on the Purdue North Central campus, the large number of people from Purdue North Central who had never been on the Purdue Cal campus. So part of this process is just getting to know each other. I mean, I would think the biology professors would have known each other, or the chemistry, or the engineering or management, and to some extent they did, but I've just heard so many times, this is the first time we've been on your campus, and so that was the thing that surprised me the most.
That does surprise me too. That's an interesting observation for sure. So what are some of the next steps that are going to have to happen over the next few months? What are the next big hurdles?
Well, right now we have a number of different groups of people, and when I say that, literally a lot of people throughout both campuses working together on separate projects. So we're looking at a 5-year financial plan. We're looking at a short and long-term marketing plan. We're looking at how do we merge the registrar's office and enrollment and financial aid. There are different groups working on each piece of that. And we expect that we'll have part of that completed by next August, but for sure we'll have all those plans laid out by next August.
And the biggest thing I think we're working on right now across all these different groups is we're working towards accreditation. We're both accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, but separate types of accreditation. And so Tom and I have gone up to Chicago and met with the officials, and so we basically have about 15 different reports that we have to do, because eventually they have to pass and bless the merger of the 2 campuses or the unification of the 2 campuses. So we're working on that. That's an everyday thing. We're working very hard for the accreditation.
There's a lot to be done here. Now, I'm not going to say who said this, because you know that I know some of these people here, but some say it feels like I got 2 jobs now instead of 1, So are there some people feeling a little overworked here in this consolidation, you think?
I'm sure that some people feel like they're working hard on this, but you know what? If they weren't working hard, they wouldn't be doing a very good job. We need to get this done, and I feel like it's, on top, just think of the role that Tom plays every day and I play every day, and just on top of that layer all this new thing with the merger, and I think it is a lot of work, but I see the outcome as being very positive for students, for faculty, for staff, and for the community as a whole. So for me, it's something that I've been very interested in doing.
The same people who, talk about it being extra work are oftentimes the people who then complain that, our students can't easily take a course at the North Central campus or transfer a course from North Central to our campus, or additionally from one of our two campuses to West Lafayette. So in order to make all of those courses similar and titled the same, it takes a lot of work on the part of everybody on campus, and it will achieve some things that will benefit everybody in the long run.
The ones who've told me that usually love the challenge, and I think are pretty excited about what's going on. So we're down to literally probably about 20 seconds, but so eventually is there just going to be one chancellor, and are you guys going to flip a coin, or how will that happen? Just a real quick answer. Do we know yet?
No, that's up to the trustees to make the final decision.
Yeah, no decision.
Okay, so we'll wait. It could be one of those wrestling matches, right?
No, I don't think it'll be a wrestling match, believe me.
Thank you both for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heath.
We'll continue to watch everything.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. In our region of Northwest Indiana, we like to talk about collaboration and aspire to practice it. Our problem? We're afraid to do it. The two Purdue University campuses have the opportunity to show us how. We should all watch and study this merger. There will be some missteps and problems, but hopefully many more victories and successes. Combining two or more entities together is a complex and challenging project, one worthy of solid leadership. We should applaud and appreciate the efforts of those who are engaged at all levels. It's easy to be critical and find fault. Rather, we must offer words of encouragement and support. I believe in the end, students, faculty, and staff will be winners. Yet the greater benefit may come to the region as a whole. We will learn how to make these consolidations work and have greater opportunities for learning. Let's let the educators educate us so we can be better educated. Thanks for watching our show. Did you gain some greater insight? Did we inspire and educate you? We always welcome your reactions and thoughts. You can send them to our email address, which is listed on your screen. Our website is also full of exciting features. Specifically, you can watch past Lakeshore Focus episodes. Just go to the www.lakeshorepublicmedia.org, click on TV, scroll down till you see my face. One more click and you can see a list of the past 70 plus shows. Tell your friends and family about this show and how you watch Lakeshore Public Television. Make sure you join us next week for another Lakeshore Focus. Until then, I'm Keith Kirkpatrick saying, make a positive difference in our world today.